Freedom Island. Ooh, as Mom used to say, I am glad to be out of that van. It has got code. I don't know if anybody knew a storm was coming or not, but it is freezing out there, and once in a while the snowplow goes by. In Detroit, they don't have all the city services, not even quite as good as Indianapolis. Certain places, I bet you where rich people live, they get plowed out good. But where we're staying, me and Evandro and Vivian's house, it's not a first priority, that's for sure. But they do go by now and then. And I kind of have this feeling they're just pushing the same piece of snow up and down the street, because the street don't look no cleaner, but you do see a satisfying flashing light go by, and it rattles and bangs. So I think people feel like they're getting their money's worth, I guess. But whether they plow or not, it don't matter. We don't use a car, no way, so we can put on our boots and walk. I didn't have no boots when I got here, but Evandro found me a pair from the clothes pantry that they have at the church, where they take and give out donations and so on. I didn't want to just take them, but we did have some leftover pork and beans and some canned food from when we got groceries last time. And I said, well, how about if we take in a box of some of this canned stuff, and then I'll take the boots. And he said that was a good idea. So that's what we did. I feel kind of bad. I kind of put things in the box I don't like to eat as much. But maybe somebody else likes it. They must put it in a can for a reason, or else people wouldn't have a company that they put canned potatoes together. And I guess if you don't have no other kind of potatoes, canned potatoes is good enough. Might be a true, delicacy somewhere where people just sit around wishing that they had some canned potatoes, and now here I have fulfilled their wish. But anyway, I felt like it was a good spirit thing to do anyway, to not just take but try to give some too. So I got boots, Evandro's got boots, so we don't care that much if it snows, and I sure am glad to be out of that van. It wasn't that bad, but then it's been this cold snap and chilly and windy and snowy. And also, I didn't feel like it would make that much sense for me to be going out posing to be a social service person in a general services van when the weather is real bad like this, because even a person that's really hard up for things ain't going to go out in this. So what appointments would they be keeping, or what would they be trying to go get? They would wait till the weather was a little better. Also, those guys I see and hear talking and working at the work center, Uncle Boyce's crew, they're not real high motivated anyway. And with it getting cold like this, they closed all them bay doors. And I haven't been able to hear that walkie-talkie as much, and I don't know if it's because the bay door is shut, or if it's that they aren't doing much and they don't talk back and forth on them right now. I think they mostly use them when one or two of them was inside the buildings, and then some of them were out in the yard doing stuff. I don't know. I don't know their patterns yet, but I felt like it was just as okay to come in the house for a couple days till the snow lets up. It's getting to be not spring yet, but Michigan, when is it ever going to be spring? But it's going to be more like spring, I think, in a few days, and I can come inside, and also I can get my plan together more for gathering up and sorting out what I hear, assuming that I can keep on catching the walkie-talkie chatter that's going on between Uncle Boyce's minions and the people that's plotting their great new world that they're going to make everybody have, called Freedom Island. that they're going to start out with this work center and have a riot, and I assume they're going to bust out of there, or maybe they're going to grab people and drag them in there with them. See, I don't know what their plan is exactly, or that they're going to make a convoy and go from like one work center there to some other ones around the city or around the state or around the whole Midwest or around the whole country. I don't know. It's kind of sickening to think about, but that's why people don't do nothing about it. It's just thinking about it scares you so bad you just don't want to do anything about it. You just want to put your fingers in your ears and say, la, 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 I don't hear nothing. There's another good reason why it's going to work out for me to stay in the house a little bit before I go back out and do my surveillance again. I want to let my lip heal up. I got a little split lip situation here. There was an unfortunate incident out in the driveway next to Vivian's house here. Couple times back when I was doing these recordings, I was talking to the lady that there's a poor confused woman that follows the wrong driveway, and she'll come up here thinking she's going to the food pantry door that's over at the church. And I took her out with me one time by the arm and turned her and showed her how the house looks real different than the church. Like the windows in the house is more like square, and the church windows is more church window looking, not stained glass exactly, but more fancier looking, kind of arch on the top and all that. And she said she understood, but she didn't understand. She's addled some way. I don't know whether it's drinking or drugs or, somebody pushed her or hit her or something when she was little, or she didn't get what she was supposed to get, when she was inside her mom's body, and she never got her right proteins and her right nutrients and everything. I mean, who knows? But her thinking's not real clear. And we had a little scrap because when I was taking that box of food over to the church to trade it in to get my boots, Evandro already had his boots, so he didn't need to do nothing. I was the one that needed to go do something about it. So, I put the canned green beans and potatoes and a couple things of corn, cream corn. I feel bad again. I don't like cream corn, so I feel kind of guilty. I gave them what they don't like. But sometimes when I get a food allotment or I get something on sale or there's a recipe or I'm making do or I'm getting stuff out of the back of Evandro's, or it's probably Vivian's stuff, really. But it ain't expired. It's still all right. If it's cream corn, I don't like it. Of course, I'm going to put it in the box, Maybe somebody likes it. So I was gathering the stuff up to put in the box and trying to figure out how much was fair. How much should I trade in to get them boots and stuff. But I came up with a good amount and not too hard to carry. And, because I didn't have no boots to walk over there in the snow, to walk safe over there to drop off the donation. So what I came up with, I felt like it was pretty good. It was one of them paper boxes that you used to get the computer paper in and stuff with the lid on it. And I filled that up about 3/4 of the way, and I put in a couple packs of dried spaghetti, and I had some gravy mix. I put that in. It was to kind of help make up for the cream corn and the canned potatoes and stuff. And I thought, well, this is pretty good. And so I boxed it up, and I put a little piece of masking tape on both sides of the box to hold the lid down. It's windy and blowy out there. And I wasn't no secret to needing to have the lid on the box, but for one thing, I wanted to keep the snow out of it because the spaghetti and stuff was in there. And for another thing, maybe they would want the box over at the church. When they emptied it out, maybe they would want to put something in it and store it and, just as have the box lid as not. So I taped that on there a little bit. And then I come out the side door, the stairs comes out from the kitchen, and we can't use the front door. There's something happened to it a while ago, and it's all smashed in, and then Evandro fixed it the best he could, but it's not real secure. And we could get it open if the house was on fire or something. We could wrench it open and go out. But I don't think it would shut right. I don't think we could latch it good and everything. And we can't let the heat out. We can't pay the heat bill the way it is, hardly. So we go out the side door by the kitchen there. So you got to watch your feet and everything. You know, you're going down them steps. And Vivian ain't no, what do they call those people? Not a bricklayer, but those people that makes masonry. She ain't no mason. So when her steps started crumbling a little bit, you know, she just had to step around the crumbly parts like we all do. And, you know, we've been doing good, but now it's under the snow a little bit. Evandro does go out with the straw broom and knock some of the snow off them steps, but, you know, it blows up. Even when it ain't snowing, it kind of sweeps and blows up from like behind where the dumpsters is at the top of the driveway and so on. And it kind of blows up along the side of the house, you know, along the side and everything. And then it kind of, whoosh, whoosh, and it flies up and then lands, and it makes the steps snowy again. So, of course, I was watching my feet because I'm trying to carry this white box in the white snow, and the steps is kind of white, but they're also kind of crumbly, and I ain't got no boots, so I'm coming down careful. And there was that woman again, and she was turned around again. So she thought she was at the church, and she thought it was the food bank. So I came down, and I turned from the steps to go toward the driveway, and here she come to take this box out of my hands. And I said, "Hon, this ain't for you." And she said, "I came to get my food. I can get it twice a week. They said I didn't need my ticket. They said I could just come." And I said, "You know, we've talked about this before. Do you remember seeing me before?" And she said, "Maybe." And I said, "Well, you've been up here 2-3 times, and we've had a little talk. Do you remember about the windows on the house and church and how it's different and how to get the right driveway?" But she was already not paying attention. Like, she definitely had something whirling around in her brain pan there that wasn't my words or what was not going on. And so all she could fixate on was trying to take that food. And I don't know if she thought she was taking it away from me or if she thought I was giving it to her, but she was trying to pull it out of my hands. And I said, "Honey, there's plenty over at the pantry. See, this is a donation to go over there. I'll walk you over there, but this one ain't for you. See, I don't give it out. You know, and she said, "They said I could have it." And I said, "I'm not saying you can't have it, honey. I'm not saying you can't have no food. But see, I'm not the one what gives it out." And she said, "Well, he does." And she's kind of pointing toward the house, like where, you know, she knew Evandro was in there. And I said, "See, he is a volunteer over there. He is like connected, and I'm just like a visitor and just like a friend. He's on the committees and so on. And see, I'm not on no committee. So it's not." But by this time, she had just yanked that box, and it made me mad. I mean, later on, Evandro said, "Well, why didn't you just give it to her? We give donations to the church gives it to her." And I said, "That's not how we do it, is it? That people just come and just yank it out of our hand? Don't we arrange for it to go over there and to be give out correct?" And he said, "Well, she can't understand." And I said, "Well, you know, I'm the one that's got the split lip, Evandro, so do you think that?" And he said, "Okay, I'm sorry. And I said, "You know, I'm not mad at you, Evandro. It's just, you know, where I lived at in Indianapolis, if you just let everybody just take everything out of your hands, you wouldn't have no lunch money, you wouldn't have no lunch, you wouldn't have no library book, you wouldn't have no birthday present, you wouldn't have no groceries. That's all they do around where I live is bigger ones take things away from little ones and faster ones take things away from slower ones. And bossy ones take things away from people that's more mousy like and, can't stand up for themselves. And I always had to look out for me. I wish I could say that my brother, when I was in school, was right there and be a Knight Galahad and watch out for us, but he wasn't the biggest boy at school for sure. He was kind of medium to smallish, and then he had kind of longer hair back in the day. It's now he's all Mr. Conservative, but his hair was more longer in the back. He had one of them, what do you call those, mullet hairdos and everything. And sometimes them bigger mean kids would get hold of his hair and yank his hair and pull his head back and everything. So, I could see why he didn't want to spring into action and defend his, dopey sister and get his butt beat. So we all, girls and boys, just had to watch out for ourselves. And it's just natural for me to say, now, I'll work this out with you. But no, you're not going to pull this out of my hands. This is mine. So I'm not going to say that she hit me. She didn't hit me, this poor addled lady. She was just panicking.